So rooms like this is where horror movies start, right?
I think so. I'm like at your screen right now, and it's just you're in a hotel, right? Is this hotel?
I am. I'm in a hotel room in Florida right now. And the funny thing is, I did actually I have my mic here. I traveled with my mic and my ring light, but there's no room behind the computer, so there was literally nowhere where I could put the ring light to make the situation any better.
I very much see that. I look better this week? I have like my ring light. I have Amelia's a giant light. I have the LEDs next to me. So I'm really like working with as many things as I can do here to actually like bolster up my quality a little bit.
I think you look a lot better, except for the fact that I don't trust my internet connection because I am using hotel Wi-Fi, and I feel like everything that I'm looking at probably looks way worse to everybody else, or way worse to me than to everybody else out there. What are you drinking?
Good question. I just grabbed something out of the fridge. Joyride Brewing. I'm gonna get it right good in there. Scarecrow Pumpkin Spice Ale. Another one of the Colorado breweries.
Speaking of how bad my internet was, I can't even tell what the character on the label was.
Easy, hold on. It was far away.
What is it?
He's an elephant.
Oh, I see it now. I can see it. Elephant on a tricycle. Okay. Oh, look, we already have a super chat.
It's not bad. Okay.
From Ryan. Hey, Perri and Matt. Happy Friday. So, Perri Delroy Lindo has just joined the cast of Marvel Studios' Blade. What are your thoughts? Funny you should ask that question, Ryan, because we were planning to bring that up tonight. So, if you want the details, they come from The Hollywood Reporter. And do they have any information on who Delroy Lindo could be playing? I don't think so.
I'm not good enough. Yeah, I'm not good enough with the comics on Blade. I'm barely good enough with the comics, but Blade essentially. I only know movies,
I wouldn't be able to
outside of that world.
But I think...
But it's exciting.
I think literally any project is better off with Delroy Lindo in it.
Yeah, and especially like we don't really know much. All we know is like who's playing Blade and now Delroy Lindo, right? We don't have any plot. We have nothing like that, right?
This is a quote from Variety. Thank you, MK Songbird. It's unclear who Lindo will be playing, but one strong possibility is Jamal Afari, who in the Marvel comics is the man who raised and mentored Blade. I'd believe that. I think he'd be able to play that role quite well.
I think that's a strong possibility. I think playing the fatherly type there would really fit for Delroy Lindo. So I think that is a smart one.
Thank you for that information, MK Songbird. It is much appreciated. And hello, Rogers. We appreciate your input as well.
Rogers agrees. Rogers wants Delroy playing the father character.
All right, let's not waste any time. We've got a whole bunch of people here who are very, very excited about Spider-Man. Yep. So I keep doing what Matthew did here, actually. I can't wait for Spider-Man Far From Home. I'm so excited. It's Spider-Man No Way Home, and I keep casually out loud saying Far From Home as well. But that No Way Home trailer was real good.
It's the thing where you have a lot of content crammed in, a lot of things happening in this trailer, a lot of old characters coming back, and you wonder, as we said in the title, can they do it all? Can they pull everything off? And my first instinct from the trailer is, again, I'm excited. I don't have Marvel fatigue yet. I'm not one of these people that's just like, oh, it's another big smashy blockbuster. Like, I don't know, this is a cool one. They're doing Into the Spider-Verse, but they're doing it now live action. I'm in on that.
I don't think anyone who calls Marvel movies without having seen them big smashy blockbusters like actually engages with the material beyond the sit back, relax, and watch a bunch of superheroes fight things. I feel like there's so much more to all of those movies that makes it far superior to that like super simple description, which I know is quite easy to throw out. But I've got a lot of faith in this. I feel like the folks over at the MCU know better than to throw all this stuff in the mix and to kind of rip open the multiverse if they didn't have some sort of, I mean, I'd probably say ingenious blueprint to actually bring it all together.
I'm going to hold out until I see it, before I say ingenious. I think the blueprint itself is ambitious, and I there is a little hesitation that like you're gonna have a lot to do in this whole movie. And I mean, we saw Eternals. We saw what happened with Eternals, and that was 2 hours 47, I think, and that felt like a rushed production. So I'm hoping it's not another one of those scenarios. I think what I'm hesitating on.
I also say that I have faith that the folks at Marvel wouldn't execute a story like this without having an ingenious blueprint, simply because I don't think this story would work unless they really knock that story and the structure and the purpose of all this out of the park. Like, I think you either have to absolutely nail it or just don't do it at all, or it's not going to work. Like, it needs to be as close to perfect as possible for this thing to come together.
Well, okay, so like I think there are some questions that come off the trailer for me, and like not in a negative way. I think there's just like lots of ponder going on here. So the first thing that stands out to me is, well, number one, let's talk about the spoiler that was in the international trailer that was not in the American trailer, and it was a spoiler in the sense that someone is clearly edited out. Someone is clearly punching. I think it's Lizard, I believe, in that clip, and we don't see who it is because they've been digitally removed. And we haven't seen either Toby or Andrew in the trailer in the American version. So I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, we have to assume that is the confirmation that those leaked photos. I mean, like, still, there were leaked photos somehow, whether they're real or not. We don't know. We have no idea. But I think that's a step forward to say there is absolutely someone hitting Lizard in the face. And I can assume it is one of the other Spider-Man at this point.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I had that on my mind the entire time I was watching this trailer, because like, even I think with the domestic ones, I think there are certain beats that might suggest this would be an opportune time for another Spider-Man to zip in and contribute to this situation.
Yeah. And so I think the other thing that comes off of that final arc looking set piece where we have Sandman, Lizard, like all the past villains are coming back, and we know that Green Goblin is an earlier. But for me, it's like, are we going to wait until that final moment where Doctor Strange says the thing like, I can't hold them back, they're all coming through? That's probably Act 3, right? And it's Act 3 where that's when Sandman comes in. Yeah, so like that, we're not going to have a majority of villains the whole time. We're going to have Green Goblin, I think. Doc Ock obviously is a major villain. And then once the third act happens and that rift breaks, I think that's probably when the Spider-Men, let's say, like all the Spider-Men come back and these end villains. So we have that for like, hopefully a huge fireworks finale.
I actually don't know. Maybe that is edited in a way where it's giving us the feel that it's a big third act set piece, but maybe it's not. Okay. I don't know. Like, because now I'm thinking about all the ways that the trailer could have been manipulated to throw us off. But I think the thing that I keep getting hung up on is those lines that suggest that they're fighting ghosts, and obviously it's heavily focused on the idea of all these villains coming through, but then the trailer also really emphasizes the idea that Peter can't save everyone. Like, he's overwhelmed by the amount of villains, which is making me think that they're going to be in play for more than we think. More of the movie than what you just described might suggest, if everything was ripped open and Doctor Strange couldn't keep them all out in the third act. Like, I don't think that's going to happen. And that would feel, honestly, that would feel a little bit like a cop-out to me. I mean, I'm assuming the end of the first act is them actually messing up the spell, and slowly they start to realize that people are in this world that shouldn't be. And then I think it's about those people aren't supposed to be in the world, and maybe that causes the multiverse to rip even more, to the point that everything could kind of, fold over onto itself and basically send everything spiraling. And I guess then that puts that one moment where he's like, I can't keep them all out or something in the third act of the movie.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's like by the Statue of Liberty or something. Okay, keep them all in. Like the sky starts breaking. Like it looks really cool. Also correct, I did not mention Electro, and I think Electro is going to be a bigger part of this movie. Which, great. Like, give Jamie Foxx another go at Electro in a different costume and in a different world. Let's say. I think I was not one of the people that liked Jamie Foxx in that version of Electro.
I mean, it's a really interesting thing too because it seems like, obviously it's a Spider-Man movie, so it has to be a significant journey for Peter Parker himself, but then you also have to consider the perspective of those villains. It's like after
Yeah.
everything that they went through, after many of them died, all of a sudden they're back and they're fighting again. So I really do hope that they don't just be like villain, 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 all fight in the third act,
Yeah.
and we actually maybe get some quieter beats with them being like, holy shit, why are we here? What's happening? And what can I do in this realm that I need in my life? If you know what I mean. But now I
I
might be
mean,
talking about like a 5-hour movie.
that's what I was just gonna say. That's where I get a little nervous about can they do everything they want to do here if that's if whatever method they're going with. I just hope that they don't get ahead of themselves in some degrees, and I hope in my heart of hearts that that third act is where most of the villains come in, and we really do only have like even if it's Doc Ock and Electro, and you bring in Goblin as like a later reveal, I would be super happy with that because I love Jamie Foxx as an actor. So like to have him play more of a part, and again get more of a part to play as Electro in this one, that would be really cool. Also, I hope one of the riffs opens and it's just Hero by Chad Kroeger playing, because that needs to come back as well. Like that is
Does
a
it?
main part of the multiverse in this, in my opinion. We better
Uh,
hear Hero.
you had to see how this trailer played in that theater. I
Oh
was
my
lucky
gosh.
enough to go to that fan event, and Coy, by the way, did a phenomenal job moderating that conversation. The whole video is on the Collider YouTube channel, and like that's
Nice.
not an easy event to kind of keep in line and roll with the tech challenges, and he did such a good job with the whole thing. But being in a theater like that, I mean, it really brings me back to the idea of, like being in a San Diego Comic-Con audience and being able to watch the trailer for the first time with a room full of fans. That's what it felt like. And we watched the trailer twice in that theater, and the first time it's like you could feel the uncontrollable urge from everyone in the audience to one shout every time they saw something exciting, but also like trying so hard to keep quiet so they could hear everything. And
Yeah.
it was such a fun push pull the whole first time we were watching it. And then the second time we watched it, everyone was almost dead silent the entire time because they wanted to take it all in. It was cool to see on the big screen though.
No, I can imagine that. And again, there are those little intricate details. Like I did not, even watching the international clip the first time where someone's getting hit and it's clear they're getting hit, but watching it on my laptop and full speed, I did not catch that the first time. And like, I think Amelia was just like, yeah, like he gets hit right here. I'm like, oh, I do see that now. So those are those details that you can pick up when you're on a big theater screen looking up and like seeing everything there. So I think that's huge actually. And looking at some other comments,
You mean
I
this one?
I mean, well, I was gonna say, yeah, that that is fair. That's a good comment.
Hour, for the record, if I had to choose New York baseball teams, the Mets are my team. This just happened to be the hat that matched I mean, it's not really matching, but that matched the most clothing that I took with me to Florida. So it went in the bag.
I mean, one for me is I kind of think I want to see more of Paul Giamatti as Rhino. Like 100%. I think that was the character we got robbed of because I mean the way they set it up, he was the villain in the next movie, and that would have been a hell of a lot of fun just seeing weird European gangster Paul Giamatti in a giant mech suit.
Well,
Like I want
let's
that version.
let's say it is the story structure that we've been discussing, and
Yep.
slowly villains start to come into this world, and then it's a moment
Love
where the
this
multiverse is
sequence.
going to crack and everything is ripping open. I mean, this probably isn't giving you the amount of Rhino that I think you want, but maybe that is the type of character who kind of like floods back in the end, where it's
Well,
just, glances or some recognition.
so like this kind of makes me like this is a fair comment too. Like they are trying to set that world up in a way. So that also leads us to
um
talking about Morbius and Venom though.
or Kingpin.
Or that is actually fair too. They have so much they can pull back on, and you don't know who they pull back into the fold. But like okay, so then Morbius and Venom, who do we think's appearing from that? Do we think we're getting both of them, one of them, and like a side character maybe?
All right, so
Go ahead, go
I've
ahead.
been really, really sensitive about the merging of worlds, and I don't know if he wants me to call him out, so I'm not gonna give the person who put this idea in my head, and I'm sure it's an idea that's already out there, but like I think what's gonna happen in this movie is that when the multiverse closes back up, it's gonna lock Tom Holland in the Sony universe, and that's how they're gonna separate the two. And I
Okay.
and I think that as sad as I would be to lose Tom Holland in the MCU, if it is inevitable, that's the way I want it to happen because I don't I like and I like Venom, but I don't
Yeah.
necessarily want a character like Venom and the things he's been through to be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So that would be a
Like I'm
neat
thinking about
way
it.
for it to all happen. But given what's happening in No Way Home, I think if that sixth was Venom, I'd be comfortable with that as long as he is sucked back into the Sony Spider-Man cinematic universe at the end of this movie.
Yeah, I actually did not think about the whole idea of locking Tom Holland in that universe, and I don't know, like, would would like Disney let that happen at this point? Like, I don't, I
I
don't know if I see.
I don't have the specifics about the contract and how long he's supposed to be in the MCU versus the
What is that?
Sony realm.
Disney doesn't have rights to Tom Holland. Tom Holland's on loan. Spider-Man does not belong to them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sony has Spider-Man, and
right.
I don't remember the details of that loan and when it expires and when he needs to go back over there, but it is gonna happen. I mean, that's why they're doing this with Venom and Morbius and all that stuff. That is why they unveiled the name, the Sony Spider-Man cinematic
Yeah,
universe, because they're gonna take him back and they're gonna build their own franchise that they can control entirely themselves. It's gonna happen. It's just a matter of
yeah.
when and how.
I mean that makes sense. Like that makes all the sense in the world if this is the way you do it. And does that mean Andrew Garfield gets another go? Lock him somehow in this one? No.
I mean, honestly, I think that totally could happen. They switch places. Someone switches places. Because I also don't really like the idea of a Marvel Cinematic Universe without a Spider-Man.
I mean
And
that's true
I
as
think
well.
between
But
Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, it seems like the Andrew Garfield one might make the most sense. But I mean, like that particular idea that we get a new Spider-Man in the MCU is a very, very big swing, and I think would be a very sensitive thing for many who have fallen so hard for Tom Holland's version. Like, I don't know if the Marvel side would want to risk, just playing swapsies and then hope that fans are into whoever they chose.
well, and then the thing too is like Amelia, they have rights to the character, right?
In comics and animation, yes. But
So
no, they do not have rights to the characters.
well, that's what I'm saying. Sony does. Sony has rights. Okay.
Yes.
So then my
Sony,
idea then
Sony
is
had
like
Spider-Man and all those villains.
yeah, so then
Not-
you can't
not
have
all- well,
another
not
Spider-Man
all.
somewhere else.
Wait, repeat what you just said?
So if Sony takes back Tom Holland into their
Yes.
Sony Spider-Man universe, you can't have another one in the MCU at that point. Like if they take him back, they take him back. He's like Spider-Man is no longer on loan. So like that's where it becomes
That's fair.
if he's
Then
gone,
there-
he's
then
gone.
there
So that's the
is-
thing. He gets yanked out. So if he is going to get yanked out eventually, this does make sense that they yank him out now. Maybe if that happens, Venom is the one in this movie. We do get Venom in No Way Home. And then he's the one that pulls. Maybe like there's like a giant scene where like he gets sucked back to his universe, but when he's doing it, he grabs onto Peter and he pulls Peter into the universe with him. That could be interesting.
So okay, let's say that does happen.
Mm-hmm.
What characters from the MCU go over there with him, and who stays? And do they? Because I guess. I mean, this is now talking about things that I don't have every single detail on, but it's like, does Sony have the rights to a character like MJ?
Now we're getting into realms that I cannot confirm on. That is something I could not confirm on because then we're talking about everything Spider-Man at that point.
Okay, this is going to be interesting to continue discussing.
Amelia, what about the rest of the characters? Like, if Tom Holland goes back to Sony, can the Marvel team
like
still have
MJ and Aunt May, like traditional Spider-Man characters?
Sorry, like an MJ or something of that nature.
No.
Okay, so once he goes, he's gone.
Those characters, Sony
Go.
maintains rights rights for as long as Sony continues to do properties with Spider-Man. They gave up those rights for Fantastic Four and Daredevil, and that's why we get them in the MCU now. But if Sony decides that they no longer want to have that relationship with Disney, then Peter goes back.
And MJ and everyone.
All of them.
Yeah, so everyone associated.
So Disney maintains comic book and animation rights, but Sony has live action.
There you go. So there is no split. Like, there's no splitting hairs at that point. If he goes back,
Animation rights.
well, so like Into the Spider-Verse would be animation, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Which is
So
Sony.
Into the Spider-Verse could.
Into the Spider-Verse is not Disney though.
Oh, that's right.
It's
Yeah, that's
Sony.
Sony. Yep, that's Sony.
Does that mean those
So I guess-
rights to the other studio? It's
In any
interesting.
case, talking about the live action, let's stick with the live action.
Well,
so yes, to your
yeah.
point, he
It's-
goes back. He takes everyone with him.
yeah. Okay. All right.
Which
yeah.
again, it does make sense. Where if this is just two studios playing nice, and listen, it has been great for everyone. I assume at this point for putting. Like, they let Marvel build Spider-Man. You build a Spider-Man back that everyone loves in Tom Holland. And then Sony gets to be like, guess what? We want our toy back. And everyone loves Tom Holland already as that character. So you can just boom, he's just right back in that universe. And he's right there with Venom, Morbius, all these characters you're already creating around him. It's a brilliant business move.
I kind of hope that when that does happen, Sony takes John Watts also.
They tried before.
Oh, I know Tom didn't want to.
There was the big drama.
There's the other thing too. Would Tom Holland want to? And
It
he
doesn't
didn't
matter.
want to last time.
There's like an arrangement that's already been made. That's like a done deal.
Would he could he walk though?
I mean, it depends on what his contract is.
Yeah, we don't know.
This is all wild. Yeah. Sorry, it's just all wild to me that
It's,
this movie could literally rip things apart.
Well, it's impossible to talk about just the story with this movie without kind of addressing the contractual situation happening here, because that will have a very direct effect on this story. Like, I do think that No Way Home is designed to lean into what is to come. So we do have super chats about Willem Dafoe from Ryan. I have a theory that Willem Dafoe is going to be the main villain of the movie because he's seen a lot throughout the trailer. So it's interesting because he's seen a lot, I think, in an extremely menacing fashion, but there's something about Doc Ock here that makes me feel like, and you know, he had that kind of vibe a little in Spider-Man too, that he'll have almost like, not anti-hero. I don't think that's the right classification there, but there's going to be some sort of understanding or a stronger understanding with whatever Doc Ock's agenda is and how he influences Tom Holland's Peter Parker.
And they have the scene where they imprison him and they have him all locked up, and that's what they're talking about, chasing ghosts and things of that nature. So
yeah,
I think Doc Ock is going to be the big bad. Well, I don't know though. It's hard to say big bad when we know that there's so many involved. So it's not just one big bad. We have so many involved. So I think if I'm going to pick two that are going to be the top, it's going to be Doc Ock and Green. It's got to be those two.
I think
Tom Holland's goal in this movie is to save them. You understand that? Right?
To save what?
The villains.
Oh, yeah, that's
his whole vibe in this movie, is he's saving them.
well, there you go. But that makes it even more
Right, he's got
interesting.
his hands full.
That's
All
fair.
right, we had another part from Ryan here. Let me find it real quick. Here it is. No Way Home is the final movie on his contract, from what I heard. I can't 100% confirm that because I didn't do my homework before this because I was exhausted and playing with my niece and nephew. But I feel like that might be right. Like, I feel like this is it. I'm just afraid to say that with any sense of authority right now because I'm like 95% sure, not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm catching up on comments. I'm literally reading all the comments.
Yeah, there's this. John Watts is going to direct Fantastic
Yep.
Four, so I think he's done with Spider-Man after No Way Home. He is directing.
So then, hold on. I did
Fantastic
see.
Four.
I
Yeah,
saw
this is
one
what
that
I'm getting at, John. Doc Ock isn't necessarily a
No,
bad guy.
that's
though.
100% true. Yeah.
Yep.
And
That's what I'm
also
feeling.
multiverses. You can do whatever you want in a multiverse and change things like that. This is the one. Okay, Ben's more like an anti-hero in his movies, so I can't wait to see him being in No Way Home to fight Peter that fast and then not fight him. So the thing that makes me think that might not be true is the post-credit scene that we have talked about here. And if you still haven't seen Venom, like Venom's reaction to seeing Peter is not one of like, hey, I know that guy. It's like he licks the screen and is like, I know him. And it's not in a kind way. And I know he's been an anti-hero for his first two movies, but first two movies in that universe. Venom, as other people, has been the same way. In any case, I could see this Tom Hardy version. Just the way they set that scene up makes me a little uneasy with him immediately going in and like being friendly in the same way. I think he might go in there being like, I don't know why he has that knowledge and why he has the knowledge of like kind of adversarially looking at Peter Parker in that moment.
It's another curious detail there.
Yeah, and I could be totally wrong. That's just how I read that look he had on him.
Well, maybe if that is the case, we'll find out that Venom Let There Be Carnage takes place after the events of No Way Home.
Then you're just getting into like a crazy mind bender at that point.
Yeah, no, I know. It wouldn't be the most straightforward way to tell that story, but just thinking about it. All right, anything else we want to hit on this? Oh, I could see Venom.
Sorry, I was just looking at this.
Oh, I could see Venom being another post-credit scene in No Way Home, but not the main movie. I feel like that's possible too.
I think that's possible. I don't think we're getting anything Morbius.
I think if this is Tom Holland's last movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, maybe it might make more sense to kind of, end a story with, like a little more, I guess, personal finality that's more about him than anything, and then just tack on the post-credit scene for the character that we know from the other universe and use that as a tease of what's to come. But,
I still like.
It's an MCU movie, but Spider-Man No Way Home is a Sony film. So really, I would think they'd want to lean pretty hard into setting up the future of their franchise in this. So I don't know. Maybe that's
totally fair.
Maybe that's the way I make a case for more Venom in this movie if he's in it at all.
I'm going with my idea of that he somehow pulls him into that universe. I'm going to stick with that one. That's where I'm laying all my eggs are in that basket.
Yeah, Rick is jumping in here to say the Spider-Man deal is this movie and one more appearance in another MCU film, which that totally makes sense to me too. That might be the correct amount that's left. I feel like I need an update somewhere.
So crazy. Yeah.
Do we want to move on to something else?
Yeah, we can.
So can we talk about that Matrix Resurrection poster?
What's wrong with it? Yaya looks great in that suit.
All right, I'm gonna drop in the link to the Collider article with this poster in the live chat if you want to take a look at it. But like, listen, Yaya looks great in the costume, but
he does.
What is this design? What is this design? They look like they're like in a club, and I don't know, just something looks so wrong about it. It looks so like Photoshoppy, like set up. Like there's no, like I understand what they're going for with a visual like this, but there's just no, I don't know. There's like no artistry to it to me.
I'm pulling it up myself really quickly just so I see it again. But that is the thing. Like, I mean, number one, I think like it's weird to see Yaya there, because he feels like he's in a different movie. Number one, like they're all still dressed in, you have the quote unquote old cast looking like they used to. And then you have Yaya out of nowhere, like bring a pop of color. So immediately you have like a throne thematic element there.
A little like Joker colors.
Yeah. Like honestly, it does look like Joker colors. And then it's not, number one, it's just not the aesthetic we're used to. I mean, it is going for something different. It is the trailer itself is brighter than anything we've seen in a Matrix movie. So like they are absolutely going for a different angle on this Matrix movie visually. But that blast of white at the top just looks terrible. I think that's the big thing for me. Like it just looks so dead space, so like overly photoshopped. So like that's where I kind of am like, that's the ugly part for me.
I don't know. I think I'm just so into more minimalist design lately. That's something about having like 5 characters, and I don't know. I feel like the way that I've come to judge posters is either does it give me something to chew on as far as giving me information about the story that I could think about that weighs on my mind, or do I want to hang it on my wall? Which I don't want to hang this on my wall.
Oh, I was actually gonna kind of bring up. Sorry. I mean, actually, this works too. I was gonna bring up Gary's as well, but I do think the movie poster is a dying art now. It's just all photoshopped together.
No,
Take some
it's
character
not.
heads, throw them. It theatrical movie posters are a dying art. All the indie ones and all like the
No.
posters that are done creatively afterwards are tremendous.
Strong disagree, because I think it's just like we talk about with the amount of movie releases. There are so many of them that there's bound to be crap art out there. But
Right.
there still is good stuff in the mix too. And it's not just for
There
the
is.
independent fare. Look at the Scream posters. I think the first posters that we've seen for Scream are they're brilliant. They're cool to look at, and they have something to say. And they're from a studio. So I think they've done a great job. That's
Okay.
just the first one that came to my mind, because obviously they're new, and I'm also obsessed with the franchise.
I agree. I just think there are more right now that are adopting the floating head mentality and the overly Photoshop mentality than there used to be. So, like, sure.
Feels more
I'm not saying it's over.
The look at me mentality. It's like, let's show you like the famous, like, quintessential things and pray that it gets butts and seats, no matter what it actually winds up looking like artwork wise. I'm just looking at some of the other posters. Matrix posters.
Yeah, no. Yeah, there are some other ones. But I think that's also why there's such a draw to like Mondo posters and again, all these like art house studios that do a poster afterwards that always looks 10 times better. And I don't know, my question is always kind of like, if these posters can exist and they're done so beautifully artistically, why do we have to wait for them to come out there when there are so many posters that you're like, yeah, I would never own that movie poster until the Mondo comes out?
I'm just gonna keep criticizing posters. I just came across the cast poster for Nightmare Alley. I don't like that poster either.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of posters these days are not as good as they used to be. So now you're starting to agree with me.
Well, in some cases, but I think there's some good ones out there too.
Perri, I'm not generalizing.
I
I'm
like
not
the
saying
being the
that
Ricardo
every single one is
poster a
bad.
lot. I like that one.
That is fair. I'm trying. I have liked posters in the past. Do not.
I like the
get me
Tick Tick Boom posters.
wrong.
Now
I
I'm
mean, if you
just
want to go
telling
back
you all
far
the
enough.
posters that I like.
I was gonna say you're just looking at
sorry.
did you just
I
type in
am.
2021 movie posters?
No, I actually, sometimes when I'm bored, I'll go on IMP Awards. It's a website that just
IMP,
is basically the IMDb for movie posters, and sometimes I'll just
Keep talking.
scroll
I'll grab
through.
my charger.
I'll just scroll through and I'll look at what they have, and they usually have everything. And I'm just someone who is very, very, very into the artistry that goes into promoting movies, whether it be in a beautiful piece of poster art or the way trailers are cut. I think there can be great artistry behind that kind of content.
Oh, I agree with you.
Or it can be, a little more purely like a tool to sell tickets with maybe a little less thought behind it, or at least the type of thought that I usually respond to.
Yeah. Again, I don't think that there is a overall everything is bad, oh my god mentality. Yeah. I do think, though, generally newer movie posters go with the Photoshop mentality over something we've seen even like a decade ago. There was just a little more pop, a little more artwork to it.
Not true. Floating heads was the hottest thing in the early 2000s.
So go back farther then. You're right. Okay. And they I'm trying to give you more credit right now.
And I'm just taking away from myself.
Yeah, I'm like trying to go back. You keep taking from me.
No. I think in, at least from the point that I existed until today, there's always been a balance of crappy artwork that doesn't look very pretty and is made to show off the things in a movie that'll sell tickets. And I think it just goes through different iterations of fallback formats, like the floating head format, or let's all like pose in a superhero-y stance kind of thing and try to look cool. So I think that tactic has just had an evolving look over the years. But I think we've always had a balance between like that kind of poster art and something that is a little more what we like.
That is very fair.
I'll throw in one more because the tragedy of Macbeth poster is real friggin' cool. That is a good design.
I have not looked at that one. That is fair.
It is a good design. I can't wait to see that movie. Koi's here. I see people saying hi. Oh, here's Koi. Koi, scroll back in this video. I was blabbing about how good you were that night. I was so impressed. Congratulations. You were incredible. It was a lot of fun. All right. What do we want to talk about now, Matt? I picked the last story, so you can pick this one.
We had a bunch of stuff there. I rattled off a bunch of topics when we were talking. What else do we want to talk
Pam
about?
and Tommy?
Yeah. That Pam
You
and
can
Tommy
start with that
is,
one. You seem really enthusiastic about that trailer.
Because the transformation that undergoes two humans that look nothing like outside of the film. You take two actors who look nothing like Pam and Tommy, and they have fully transformed. There is no essence of either actor left on the screen, and the fact that it is so perfectly covered by like makeup and makeup design and those effects, if that doesn't win something, that's insane. Like that is crazy insane. Like especially like the Pam Anderson makeup. That is 100% the best makeup design all year. There's no challenge.
I think it looks great. I think it looks great, and I love the format that it feels like it's rolling with. Like I don't know how well reflective the trailer format is going to be for how the series plays out, but I think it works really, really well in a 2-minute teaser where, you know, on the one hand, I'm getting the holy shit factor as far as how good they look in those roles, but also there's another layer to it happening now, and we need that. We can't just be in awe of the situation and how they're looking the entire time. And I appreciated the opportunity to dig a little more into the story and what's going on. And I like the way that they did that in this trailer in particular.
I mean, the story itself is going to be insane to tell because literally it's about the leaking of their sex tape. Like that in its own right is the fact that like it's an invasion of privacy. It's these people trying to become popular for like stealing this intimate moment. It is so many things. And then, you know, then you have Pam and Tommy reacting to it the whole time. Like those reaction shots of them finding out that they've been leaked. Tremendous. Like that shot alone is like enough to sell me on the entire show.
The trailer structure literally enhances everything that you just said. It's
so
great.
Good. It's good.
This is, I think, when this comes out next year, it's gonna be obviously very, very highly talked about, but I think it's gonna wind up being a hit. I have this feeling. I have a good feeling about this one.
The trailer has me 1000% just waiting for that to drop. And like, I've had a hard time binging things recently because like we are all busy. Obviously, like both of us are insanely busy doing what we're doing. Like Pam and Tommy is a thing marked on my calendar. It is sitting there. And like when it comes out, I'm watching it all. I'm not letting this one slip. So like that is how excited. And also it brings me back to man, what was that terrible Motley Crue movie, The Dirt?
Yeah, The Dirt.
Was it The Dirt?
Yeah.
And like it's just the funny. It's so funny how like just putting attention to detail goes, because that is like Machine Gun Kelly like cosplaying as fucking Tommy Lee, and that movie itself had its issues outside of that, but it just goes to show you how important these things are. Like you can't just put a costume on sometimes. Like you actually have to do some kind of transformation, and I really think that like Pam and Tommy again is the full transformation. They have taken every step to go as far as they need to make these characters feel like real and lived in. Like it's insane.
I have not seen The Dirt, so I can't comment on that. But I do think that the positives you just described feel like it matches this trailer and what we've seen thus far of the show. We have a super chat.
Yep, go for
from
it.
Wiley Todd. Hey guys, I'm in the middle of episode 2 of Wheel of Time, and holy crap, this is my new favorite show right now. Man, I'm glad fantasy is back. Have you seen it? I really want a Mistborn movie too. Have you watched any Wheel of Time, Matt?
I indeed have not.
I did watch the first 3, and I was not really feeling it at the beginning of episode 1, and then it went from being, and you know, I went into the show with the assumption that it was going to be a young adult fantasy show. And then it got like real dark and violent. And like my interest was piqued and I was into it.
Just me.
I haven't gotten past episode 3, so I can't comment on, how the whole story unfolds, especially for someone who isn't a book reader and doesn't have the best understanding of the world just yet. But yeah. I think it's a decent start. One of the things that's taking away from my enthusiasm with Wheel of Time is, Matt, did you ever watch The Witcher?
Actually, no. I still not started that either.
You should watch The Witcher. So
I have a long list.
I didn't think I would like The Witcher. I didn't think it was going to be for me. Again, I thought it was going to, I don't know. Like, I don't want to say it was going to get too fantasy because I like some fantasy, but I don't know. I guess it's just not something that I jump into very quickly. But The Witcher is like really like dark, and his character is so brooding, but it's got a sense of humor to it too, and it's like uber violent. I'm just like, I'm very into that, and I also think that it is basically sky high production value and high quality with everything it does, whereas I feel like I see the seams in Wheel of Time a little more. I can't help comparing the two because of the genre and also because I happen to have watched them back to back.
And that is very fair because I feel like those kind of shows especially rely on production design over the top. Just as you said, like The Witcher, again, I have not seen it yet, but every still I've seen, everything I've seen, they again, the transformation, go back to talking about transformation and Henry Cavill turning into that main character. I at least know enough about the games and things of that nature to know what he should look like and things there. So knowing the depths that they go to make sure that works is very much a thing. And I think I'm also with you. That kind of like medieval fantasy, even like Lord of the Rings kind of material, it takes a lot longer for me to get into it. It's just not my go-to. So that is very much a thing for me. Like if you don't hook me in the first like 1 or 2 episodes for a show like that, I'm out. And it's just a taste profile thing. I'll never be one of the guys that, or like one of the people who my college roommate every year had the whole extended cut marathon where he would watch every extended cut back to back. And like, it was something he had to do because he loved it so much. And I would always leave the room that day because I'm like, I got nothing to add here. I don't want to be here. I'm going to go to somebody else's room, play Call of Duty or something.
It's understandable. We all have our own tastes and preferences. It's all good. So Rick, we can't really talk about Hawkeye yet because the embargo has not lifted, but did you post a reaction on Twitter, Matt?
Nope.
No? Well, you can find my social media reaction on my Twitter page, which is what I'm allowed to say at this point, and I can't go beyond that just yet. All right, we had.
You know what I have been watching though, Perry?
What? Oh, Squid Game.
No, not Squid Game.
Did you not say Squid Game to me yesterday?
No. I straight up I went right to Hitmonkey.
But did you watch any Squid Game? Did you say that, or did I dream that?
You dreamed that. I have
what
not
did you
touched.
tell me you watched? You told me you watched something, like caught up on something recently. Oh, it was Big Mouth. It was Big Mouth. I'm an idiot. Okay.
Big Mouth #1 finished that season, so that was tremendous. #2, sorry, my video is looking wonky right now, so I don't know.
I'm shocked it's not me.
Doing. Sorry, I just clicked this and I didn't mean to. My computer is going through a very slow moment.
Yeah.
What the hell is happening?
Well, while you're figuring that out, I'm going to say a big old thank you to Luke for this super chat. And I'm feeling fairly certain about this, but I believe Luke is like rising in the ranks on fantasy football in our Patreon league right now. I think you jumped up 2 spots and you're at #4 now. Yeah, that is definitely what happened. I am extremely impressed. I'm very jealous because it doesn't look like I'm making the playoffs thus far, but I'm happy for you, Luke. You are a reigning champion and you are proving it was not just a 1-season thing right now. How you doing over there?
Did you see what I did this week?
No, I don't think so.
So Cordell Patterson, who plays for the Atlanta Falcons, was supposed to play last night, and I was at my Resident Evil screening, and last minute he went through the pregame. He went through the pregame, so I thought I was fine, and I went into my screening, and I got out, and Cordell Patterson did not play. So I have a big old goose egg, and I'm in the game I have to win. So I'm not happy.
I picked up Wayne Gallman because of that, and thankfully did not play him. He's on my bench.
Yeah, that is good that you did not do that.
So wait, tell us about Hitmonkey.
I am in love with Hitmonkey. Sorry, is my quality okay? Are you seeing me okay? Am I in a delay?
You're a little choppy, but the important thing is we can hear you.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go forward with that knowledge. And Hitmonkey was something I knew nothing about walking into it. Number one. Number two, I just pressed play on it because it's a monkey hitman. Yeah, of course. We're going to do that. We're going to watch that movie. Or sorry, TV show. It's a TV show. And what I found through the first 4 episodes is it is basically an amalgamation of Archer and anime and a hitman monkey, which is a ridiculous concept, but he's also tutored by a hit person who's a ghost, who's voiced by Jason Sudeikis, and their chemistry together is phenomenal. Like, Jason Sudeikis has tremendous chemistry as a ghost with a monkey who's a hitman. And like, I don't even know if I want to go into more than that. The action, the cartoon design is so well done. It is not something that, like, you watch some cartoons and the animation might not always like be the best thing about it. Hitmonkey flows so well. It fits into the anime mold. The action is like actually kind of like adrenaline pumping, and the comedy beats are also there too. But they also have this little subplot of alcoholism, and they do all these things like where they're talking about alcoholism using a fucking monkey. Like, it's so smart and well done, and I can't stress that enough. That you look at the title Hitmonkey, you think it's going to be a one-off gimmick, you think it's going to be a silly little thing, and it actually hits on all cylinders. Like, it is one of those shows that I watch and I'm just like, this is Marvel pushing the mold in some way. This is Marvel doing something so out there and bonkers and still delivering on every level. Like, yeah, I expect this to be like a throwaway comedy kind of gag. Cool, Hitman Monkey. No, this has everything you want in that kind of show between drama, comedy, action. Ugh. Good.
Okay. I will happily put that on the list.
I also agree with what AJ said too. Like, for those who couldn't get through MODOK. Yeah, sorry, I was just gonna say, for those who couldn't get through MODOK,
I like MODOK.
Hitmonkey is very different. Because unfortunately I did not like MODOK, so I know people out there don't as well. And I just want to say, like, don't compare MODOK and Hitmonkey. Those shows couldn't be farther apart on the spectrum. So go in knowing that.
Like I live on a MODOK island by myself. Am I the only one who liked that show?
Quite possibly. Also, introduce the next topic. Talk your fantasy team really quickly. I'm just
I'm gonna go to Caleb first because this gives me an opportunity to. Okay, so this gives me an opportunity to brag about the fact that. So I'm not doing super well in the Patreon Fantasy Football League. I feel like I'm still in the bubble though. I could sneak into the playoffs there, but in my other league that I'm with Matt in, I'm 10-0, and I'm like really proud of that. I feel like a jerk bragging right now, but I thought I had the worst draft in that league, and somehow I am undefeated, and I hope it continues this time. I see Matt back here. Yo.
Am I better now?
Yeah, you're better now. I was busy bragging about how I'm 10-0. I'm 10-0 in the sleeper league.
Yeah, you are. You're 10-0 in the sleeper league. I know.
Do you think I'm going to be 11-0 by the end of the weekend?
Probably.
Monday.
I would assume if you're like at this point, if you've gone 10-0, your team is that good. Where I don't think you have to worry about it at this point.
Yeah,
you're making the playoffs no matter what.
Cooper Kupp's on bye.
That's fair. That's fair. Cooper is a stud.
And I have to play McKissick this week. I don't know about that. We'll see.
I'll
keep you updated.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really hope my Cordell Patterson thing doesn't. I mean, I know I'm already behind the 8 ball. I know I'm already supposed to lose, so I need a bad week from whoever Purple Rain is. And I really want to make the playoffs in that league. And I was doing.
It's Luke.
That is Luke. Okay, so this is bad. This is terrible. Luke is gonna beat me because I didn't play I played Cordell Patterson stupidly. Shit. I'm gonna blame Resident Evil. I'm gonna fucking blame Resident Evil.
Well, Luke might lose Hollywood, so.
Oh, true. I did see that. Yeah, that could.
If he doesn't play, then that helps you a little bit.
I'll take it.
Damn, Luke is playing 2 tight ends. That's a bold move, my friend.
It's a bold move, but it's smart.
You're doing well. I don't judge. I don't judge.
Um,
Luke has a couple people on the bench that he could sub in and really kick your ass with, I think.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware. I need a bad week from Luke. Sorry, Luke. I love you, but still, I need a bad week from you. I want to make the playoffs.
He's got Jeff
pride.
Wilson. That could be a good play with no Elijah Mitchell. Were there any other news stories you really wanted to hit?
I mean, there was like you brought up the comments about things, and I don't think that's necessary to really talk on always. The Black Widow, or sorry, like the Scarlet stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Sorry,
I feel like that's
comment
overplayed.
just made me blush a little, just because I have a little eyeliner on and did nothing else today because I'm so tired.
Where's my comment? What the hell? Where's my comment?
Traveling with an infant and a 2-year-old.
Hell no.
I just want to take a moment to give all the credit in the world to all of the parents out there, because raising children is hard and it's exhausting. And at the end of the day, I feel like I could sleep for 12 hours.
God bless my parents. I could never do it. That like, literally, that's the truth. Like honest to God.
It is a lot. It is a lot of work. Let me bring back the Scarlett Johansson quotes. Here they are. So I am reading from the Collider article. So there was this event, and the Hollywood Reporter spoke to Scarlett Johansson about that lawsuit and the recent settlement regarding Black Widow. And the quotes she gave them were, this is still the old quotes, blah, blah, blah. She told them, "I feel mostly very fortunate that nobody will have to go through what I went through, and that it's made, I think, a positive impact in the industry and hopefully for artists and creatives' lives and livelihood." She went on to add that she is hopeful that fighting for the proper compensation would allow for a wider conversation about the talent's deal within the streaming war, hoping that her suit would have a long-lasting impact, saying it's an evolving time where there's this huge sea change happening. And as my daughter told me the other day, you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs.
It's fair.
Yeah.
It's all fair.
I think it's fair. I think this isn't the end of disagreements like this, but I think someone out there might be tempted to roll their eyes at someone as rich and famous as Scarlett Johansson trying to, negotiate this type of arrangement. But the point is, when you sign these contracts, you're supposed to get what you're owed. And also someone with a platform as big as Scarlett Johansson can truly make a difference if she's busy negotiating for, fair compensation when we see streaming services taking over and changing the value of deals that used to be industry standard. So it's an important thing that this is happening. And I think the outcome of it is important. And it could have the effect that Johansson expressed and wants to have here. And, the fact that it should have a lasting impact and it should create some sort of ripple effect where, this type of situation is dealt with properly in the future.
Agreed. I have nothing else to add to that. I agree with you. Did you see, by the way, there's the comment there that they snuck the Train to Busan remake title into the Under Siege news.
Oh, really?
So the Train to Busan remake is called Last Train to New York. We know that now. So could you imagine if it's a LIRR train going into Grand Central?
Can it please be? Can it be from my home station? I was
going to say, can it be from like the Hempstead station, 30 minutes away?
Go straight from Hofstra. It's a train, an LIRR train full of Hofstra students going into Manhattan to party for the night.
That actually.
And Matt Donato happens to be on it.
Shocking! That never happened. What are you talking about? That was never a thing I did.
Why?
But yes, so that is the title. We know what the title is. I think that is very fun though. Like, because any train could be going into New York City. Like, it could be coming from anywhere. And if you're going to New York, the idea of getting there and possibly having more to do in New York City, let Timo do it. I love it.
Yeah, I'm
also Timo doing the Under Siege remake. Give Timo all of the action titles. Like, seriously, at this point, I think he should be doing anything tied to action intensity. He does that so well. The Night Comes For Us is so good. That alone gives him carte blanche on so many remake if he wants to do them. I would let him remake any action franchise at this point.
I'm down for that. I would sign off. Were there any other stories that you wanted to hit? I've closed all my tabs accidentally and can't remember what. Star Wars. They cast Sabine in the Ahsoka series, and Sabine was one of my favorite characters from Rebels. So it's obviously very, very exciting that we're going to get to see that character in live action form.
Somebody's commented before who's playing.
Yeah. Too. I'm gonna pronounce her. No, Natasha Liu Bordizzo. So let's find out what she's in here. She's in a couple things. Netflix's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Sword of Destiny, and also The Society. And then what else was she? She's in Guns Akimbo and The Greatest Showman as well.
Yep.
I am just very. I saw a couple people online getting pissed that Tia Sakar. Man, now I think I'm getting her name wrong. I think it might be. Yeah, who voiced the character in Rebels? They're upset that she didn't score the role. Now I'm hesitating to say what I'm going to say because I can't remember when Ahsoka takes place in the Star Wars timeline and how old that character should be.
That's on you.
Yeah, that is on me. I should have done my research.
I can't add to there. I'm saying I can't add to there. You're the Star Wars person of the two of us.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm just very excited to be seeing this character in live action form. I think it's an incredible character, period, and the idea of seeing her come to life that way is going to be hugely exciting, and I'm sure it will be done very, very well, especially with oh my god, my brain's not working tonight. Star Wars genius, cowboy hat. Oh my god, Dave Filoni.
Star Wars genius. I was gonna. Okay, I was like, was it Filoni? Sorry,
dude. I am like having a time here. I feel like I am in another world right now, and that like the crazy thing is, technically, it should feel like 7 o'clock at night to me, but it's obviously 10 o'clock on the East Coast, and I feel like it is 3 o'clock in the morning. I am on so little sleep. I am not functioning.
You're playing Ant. You're doing things that are much harder than you usually are. I didn't even have to have a beer
tonight. I already feel drunk.
That is fair. I mean, or you can have a beer and go right to bed. You can have a beer and go right to bed.
I actually might. I think that's going to be my plan tonight.
Just have a single beer and just knock right out. I think that's the way to do it.
All right. I think it's time for me to go to bed.
Yeah, you can do that. That's fine. Next, what are we doing? We got next week.
Yeah, I was just going to pull up my handy little graphic here that I made.
Handy little graphic.
So we have an interesting schedule for the next 2 weeks because next week is obviously Thanksgiving. Very happy holiday to everyone who's celebrating. So we are going to do our show on Saturday, November 27th at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. So you'll be able to find us on Saturday next week. And then the week after that, we're also doing a Saturday show because the folks in the Patreon community know this, but we're doing a Patreon meetup in Los Angeles because a lot of people are going to be in town for the Schmodown Spectacular. So that is what we'll be doing that Friday night. So the show is going to be Saturday, December 4th at 4 p.m. Pacific instead. 'Tis the plan. Sound like a good plan?
I think so. I hope so. That's the plan we came to. I hope it works.
Good, because that's what it is. And it's
we can't change it. So we're locked in. No. So I guess that's what's happening.
Okay.
All right.
Good. Great. I'm glad you agree. All right. I think we're done. I think we're signing off. We better sign off before I do something stupid. All right.
I could end broadcast too because I'm still logged in as you.
You can, but I'm going to click the button in 3,